So welcome back to Homes and Loans with Elite Mortgage. Today we have Megan with Fairwater Title, and they're based out of Port St. Lucie. And I just want to turn over to you, Megan, and kind of share a little bit about who you guys are and what you guys can do.
So Fairwater Title has been in business for 10 years. I myself has been experienced in real estate title and real estate law for most of my life, 25 years and going. But what we do here is we have a great network of attorneys. We are an independent title company, but we do closings all around Florida, and we help investors, and we can close any type of loan. That's our experience here at Fairwater Title.
Good. Yeah, nice. And thank you for being here, by the way.
Thank you.
So I think one thing that most people probably wonder is what sets you apart from another title company, right? There's so many.
There are so many, and it does get very trendy whenever it comes to our market being very good. But what differentiates me and my company from the others is our availability, also our resources whenever it comes to research, whenever it comes to property research of getting you from your lender, your financing time and contract all the way to close. It's really important to have those people who are constantly available, who really are passionate about their work in specifically property research. And whenever problems arise, it's best that you use somebody who has that astounding ability to kind of even delve further with their resources. You know, for us, we work with a lot of big network of attorneys, different types of attorneys, and also have collaborations with the representation whenever it comes to law, and also those other affiliates. And when people have a problem, we can solve it for them.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's awesome here. Then what would you say has been something you guys have faced that has been difficult, like a challenge or problem you guys have overcome as a title company?
Well, probably the challenges for everybody in real estate was whenever our market crash happened.
Okay.
So in my experience, I started at an attorney's office.
Okay.
So, you know, that was the time whenever we were doing a lot of critical thinking and problem solving for people that were in foreclosures. And probably the biggest thing was keeping the real estate businesses open.
Yeah.
We never closed. You know, we never had to lay anybody off.
That's awesome, yeah.
And what you have to kind of learn is whenever like the market is changing and the trends through the decades is, you know, being a business owner, you have to learn kind of how to pivot and not panic, you know, where you have to think of new ways to help people in their misfortunes, whatever it may be in the circumstances of that trending time in the market. But that is very important because, you know, whenever there is a problem of having difficulty of keeping business and keeping those business relationships, usually if something bad happens, either I'm going to be working for you or you're going to be working for me kind of thing. So that's probably the biggest difficulty is finding and working with people that are actually good and passionate about their job in real estate, especially in Florida. It's hard to find people as good as you are.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Even though we're always constantly learning and teaching everybody.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah. And you said when the crash, so this is you're talking about like back 2008, 2009?
Yeah.
So you've been in it for a long time.
I've been in it for a long time. It's definitely, it's been a family business. Even within our group of family, we own more than one title company. So it's something that, you know, we've done forever. And, you know, you learn as like the decades go on with the trends and everything, how to problem solve better for your clients and for your own business.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that was a big teachable experience, right? Like
it was probably the best time of my life.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it was the hardest.
Okay.
And usually even like either the difficult clients or the difficult properties, those are what really kind of shape you as an individual and a business person.
Yeah.
And a professional, because that's where you learn, you know, where you have to make those changes. That's where you become resourceful for other people is whenever something bad usually happens.
Yeah. You got to figure out the problem. All right, there's the solution. Let's go. Yeah.
Because it'll happen again.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, there's always problems.
There's always problems.
And
but there's always a solution. Like, you know, everybody says, you know, they just want to quit and like throw everything down. But at the same time, you know, you want to make a deal and not break a deal. But just as long as the circumstances are, you know,
Right.
perfect for that.
Yeah. Makes sense. No, makes sense. So, all right. So you said a little bit about who you guys are, who you are as a business person, but who are you outside of this?
Oh, well, that's totally different story. But actually, kind of recently, as far as just being a family person, I have 2 children and I'm married, but really, I don't really have many hobbies outside of summertime. But I love Florida, like I'm a Florida girl.
Uh-huh.
But in reality, honestly, I'm your best FBI agent. If there's a hobby, I'm usually doing some sort of research on something for somebody.
Okay. Okay. Which you're a good person to have somebody's corner then, because
Absolutely.
you're able to find out what's going on.
Yeah, and I like to be in people's corner because I don't like to be really like in the spotlight a lot, but I try to help people to get there. I put people in position. I try to say that.
Okay.
Because I want other people to succeed because I don't want whenever I'm gone.
Yeah.
Who's going to do all this real estate stuff? You got to teach people.
Yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So you say you don't like a lot of spotlight stuff. So that means, does this bother you?
It doesn't bother me. But, I'm sure I'm not going to watch this to completion on my own. She will tag me, and I will allow it.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Kind of like actors who don't watch their own movies. But I do enjoy this. It's great to kind of like just share either the business or even, meeting you and working with new people.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, which one of the goals of doing this is try and share different experiences, right? Because you all do and not share the same thing, right? As far as real estate, but there's different experiences, different things that can maybe help somebody in the future down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why usually I say bad times are not the worst times.
Yeah.
There's always a solution. I was like, don't panic.
Yeah.
But, our experiences, just talking about them. I mean, even at home, we talk about finances. We talk about wealth. Like that's
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Not everybody does that. That's amazing.
It is amazing because, I'm hopefully to set up, yourself in the future.
Right.
Because, of course, I don't want to be running this office my whole life by myself. Maybe somebody else will be the one, but yeah, it's problem solving and making sure that everybody's protected in the end. Right.
No, yeah. And I like the way you think about, like, you want somebody else to do it, right? Like, teach other people to do it. So, I think especially a lot of owners or leadership position type people don't think that way.
Well, some people don't understand what leadership really is.
Yeah.
Or they get a little construed with popularity.
Yeah.
I think. So, it's great to be the one in the spotlight. It's extremely tiring. But seeing other people shine is probably the most reward that I do have whenever it comes to my ability to give them some kind of knowledge.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, that satisfaction.
Yeah, it's a satisfaction.
Yeah. I agree.
I like even my kids. I don't think that my oldest is very interested at all in real estate, which is strange. But, I know that he is going to still use those tools.
Right.
And like the experiences that I've had in real estate of problem solving, that I really don't worry anything about him at all. Like I know he's going to make it.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
You can utilize those tools in all different kinds of ways.
I mean, I guess that's what you have to do as a parent, right? Make sure your kids can make it on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So what got you into being title and doing all this? Something you dreamt of since you were a kid?
Absolutely not. So, coming from a family business, pretty much, I have a sister who's a little older than I am, and also a stepbrother, and everybody decided to be in academia and, academia and everything and going to law school.
So they're very smart.
They are very smart. And, but so am I. So the thing is, I wasn't really into school that much. And, I was a little rebellious. And as soon as I could pick up a phone, I was working at the law office or working at one of our businesses. So having that already instilled in me, even though I wasn't very much into the scholarly life, I was pretty ambitious. So I think I'm the only one out of the family that decided not to go to law school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I'm blind because I read so much. Reading is my biggest thing that I advocate for throughout this whole industry. Teaching, I teach agents how to read. Because it's such a fundamental thing and you get so much from it.
Yeah.
But I tried to get out of real estate. I actually
Okay.
tried to get out of real estate during the crash because I was broke. And so I decided to go back to college.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting my bachelor's degree. And I ended up back in the office.
Okay.
And then, which I commuted to Palm Beach. And I said, you know what? I'm sick of commuting here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's open a title company in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
So I wasn't state licensed then as a title agent, but I got my title agent license in 2014, and we just haven't stopped really since.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. What'd you get your degree in?
Anthropology.
Anthropology.
I wanted to be a maritime surveyor. Like be on a big boat and plot things like find the Titanic, treasure hunting.
You want to be like a pirate?
Yeah, but it wasn't really. It wouldn't have spanned out as greatly as this, obviously.
Yeah.
I could have been a bum, and that would probably been great. But when you have a family, you got to get a little bit more serious about that. But I did try to leave, and it wasn't. It's strange how I was saying that, like I am good at it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't like it, but usually that comes with any kind of job or passion.
Yeah.
So you got to re-up yourself a little bit about, if you really like to do something, and I do enjoy it very much.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah, it's great to hear. I would say, well, worst case, you could just travel a lot in the boat.
Could have traveled.
Yeah.
But how would I have paid for my gas? There is a lot of treasure hunters out there, and they'll be looking for 10 years, and they may never find anything.
Yeah.
So risk and benefit.
Right.
Risk
right.
versus benefit is what I'm probably thinking of the most.
Yeah. No, makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. So what's something you would say that people would be surprised to learn about you?
I don't know. I guess I don't think anything. I'm usually not the person to keep a hold of, feelings for advice. I'm kind of out there, and usually, the compatibility of my colleagues is usually they say, Megan, you need to shut your mouth. Or you need, let's not say too much. If you met my sister, who is an attorney now and owns her own title company, she is very compatible with me. Definitely my other extreme, where we are compatible together. Like I say, I'm from the streets, and you're the one with the degree. But she tells me to, bring it down. Yeah. Because I get a little feisty. But other than that, I feel like I'm likable, but sometimes my authenticity kind of hurts people a little bit.
The bluntness, maybe?
Well, I don't like to say blunt. I say I'm direct. Yeah. Because I try to get things done. Yeah. And, there's not too much small talk. And some people don't like that. Yeah. But usually people who know me well enough, it's like, okay, I'm not giving orders. We're just trying to get it to a finish line. Right. Small talk is very hard for me. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like you're doing pretty well now.
Well, if you saw me at a networking event, I'll be looking for people I know first. Okay. I can, and I do advocate against that or advocate for that whenever people are networking and they don't know how to. Okay. Where you have to just go to somebody and say, yeah, I don't know who you are. Yeah. Please introduce yourself. Yeah. And then the next thing is now I want you to introduce me to somebody that you know. You're having your tree of association.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And I learned that through teaching myself sales. Okay. And that was tough. Yeah. So it's tough to talk to people who are used to me.
Now you're okay.
Now I'm okay with it. Oh yeah. 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 You could see the fear in newbies' eyes or rookies' eyes where they're just I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what to do. And sometimes when I'm in those situations, I usually seek them out, give them an arm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do it together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Because that's probably half of the failure, probably in sales or in real estate is, people don't really put themselves out there. The fear of failure.
Yeah, which
I'll forget your name like that, but I'll ask you again about it.
Yeah, which is kind of, I don't know, ironic's the right word, but you're gonna fail if you don't do it. So
exactly,
you're still gonna fail regardless.
You'll fail regardless if you don't even try. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm totally down with get up and try again. Things fail. That's why you gotta learn how to pivot and not freak out.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think it's something you could say maybe to realtors or clients out there that you would say it takes to be successful, and why they should trust you as far as essentially using you as the referral for the business and title?
I would say you use me because I don't lie.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that will guarantee a lot of things and then they don't deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I usually will say I do not over guarantee, and that's maybe one dislike that people have, because you learn how to become someone that does not people please.
Right.
To get to, because, if you say something up here just to get a sale and at the end, you either can't deliver what you promise.
Yeah.
Then, we do that blame game in real estate.
Right.
You're like, well, I didn't say that, or that's not my fault. That's not our fault.
I hate that game, by the way.
Well, yeah, but it's like, the real estate transaction is such a game of like the old 80s game, like telephone, where you are saying something in someone's ear, and by the time it gets to the end, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So you really have to, the information has to be authentic. The information has to be truthful, because, if you end up being the person who isn't giving the proper information or being direct about it, then you end up, your client satisfaction just goes,
right.
And you don't look like you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
Too. So definitely don't lie. Don't say something that you don't know, but it's okay to say, you know what? I don't know that information. Let me call my colleague Megan.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it right now.
Right.
And I think that that's important, to keep that authenticity of being honest right from the start.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Time out. All right. Sorry, I lost my place now.
Yeah. Okay. I went through ultrasound, like when we were trying to say something like
All right. So, let's say somebody wants to get into title, right? Become a title agent, title rep. What advice do you give? Are you guys hiring, or is there something you guys do specific to help those people entering the industry?
Fairwater, I've tried to make the company something where we promote with that.
Okay.
If you want to get into any kind of real estate profession, go be a receptionist. Learn how to talk to people. The best thing, even in an office or in the real estate industry, a receptionist position is such a powerful place.
Right.
I feel like a good receptionist should be running my life, not the other way around. That would be a good place to start. Once you start answering phones and you start asking those questions with clients, that's probably the best thing. And having a boss or a leader or supervisor who kind of knows your worth and wants you to become better than they are.
Right.
Because that's the only way that they're ever going to keep their business open.
Yeah.
Is to teach people to get above so that you can bring in more people to grow.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Starting as a secretary.
Oh my gosh. The most fear is probably talking to clients, because they're the ones that's asking you most questions. You know, we did have a title processor here. And she's like, you never freak out when bad shit happens or when bad things happen, because, there's always a solution.
Right, right.
And my advocacy for reading, what our attorney did at the law office is, if I had a closing, I got a stack of papers, and he wouldn't even write me off to fund. He'll be like, I'd be freaking out 5 minutes in the closing. I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Stack of papers goes, your answer is in that file. Go find it. Very calmly.
Yeah.
I quit this industry many times because of that. But I'll sit there and say, okay, if you have a question for me, what would you do? You tell me what you would do.
If you had a question for me?
Well, if I had a colleague or an employee and they're having a freak out, and I said, okay, you answer your question first, your own question first. Yeah. And I'll tell you the answer, because I'm sure the answer is probably sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, there's a way to find it. Absolutely.
There's a way to find it.
Yeah.
But the difference of being a boss and a leader is understanding that you have to do that with people who are obviously talking to your clients and running their office.
Right.
You have to make them have that awe or that epiphany in their own mind of how to solve that problem without you as an employer,
Right.
making them feel less because they're trying to learn.
Yeah.
You know,
no, that makes sense.
I don't yell in this office.
That makes sense.
It all depends. You know, but you know, it's a learning process for people, and I try to force it as much as possible because they know that I'm not going to give them the answer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I actually saw something somebody was talking about where there's a problem. Now it's like a big, big, I think over 500 employees type company. But he's like, if there's a problem, he tells them, bring me 3 solutions to it.
Exactly.
Before even telling me what the problem is.
It helps.
And then let's explore those 3 solutions.
Yeah,
that's how he starts them out. Yeah.
Think about, and that's what you're put through high school for.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like creative writing, like you have to actually do it for yourself. If not, then you'll have colleagues or employees, and you'll get burnt out.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is probably most of us cheated through high school. That might be a problem there.
There might be a problem there.
Yeah.
Wait, only 31. What year did you graduate?
2012.
2012. So I graduated in 2003 from high school.
Yeah.
And I think my last semester, I actually dropped out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, this is ridiculous. It was either an authority thing, or I think I was like short on some credits, but I definitely missed a little too many days,
Okay.
And but 2 weeks later, I was bored. You get bored. Like, what am I going to do? I'm in school.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, I went back and I had a 4.0.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Like, I'm just like, what was I thinking? Kind of thing. Like, you're capable of things. Once you have nothing to do, then you understand what your actual capability is.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you quit 2 weeks and went back like, all right, I'm a 4.0 student.
Trust me, I did not want to go back. I was like, this is ridiculous. but it's I still have that like authority problem.
Yeah.
As far as somebody telling me what to do. And if you speak to my mother in there, she'll definitely be like, listen, she's the problem. But we do work well together.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah.
We do.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't mind. We do struggle like on that kind of like bossing kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes I've learned to be put in my place as well.
And it's not easy working with family, so
that is the whole thing that I tell everybody. You're lucky that we're not on death row, or that we're all still alive, and we are all actually like very, very close, even though we all have different companies and businesses, and we work well together because of the fact that I say if you ask an attorney, or you ask 3 attorneys one question, you're going to get a bunch of different answers.
Right.
But that's how we work well together and we are successful, is because there's more than one solution.
Right.
To either a problem or to be successful at something if you're starting out.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same as underwriting. You might get a different answer.
And, with underwriters, like, okay, even with title underwriters, like, you have more than one in an office, like, okay, we have a problem property. And then you realize, okay, well, this one underwriter, they're really lenient. We can get away with this.
Right.
So, I mean, but that's the whole thing about, risk versus benefit.
Yeah.
Who you work with, even on that corporate ladder.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what do you think you would do? I know you say you don't have a lot of hobbies, but what do you think you would do if you weren't doing this?
All right, that's kind of weird. Nobody knows this about me. If I wasn't doing this, I probably would be a psychedelic therapist.
What does that mean?
So here we go. All right, so my hobby, which is not necessarily a hobby of the action of doing it, but I'm an advocate for psychedelics in a therapy sense.
Okay.
It would actually be something I would love maybe later in life to integrate with my real estate life, because since psychedelic therapy is becoming kind of popular, and Florida, come on, we're the Wild West, we're probably the first ones to do anything. The stress management of being in this industry is, it's astronomical. Like, we're on one of the highest stress occupations. And everybody needs therapy in this business. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
I feel like I should put it as a fee.
But we're all crazy for doing this.
We're all crazy, of course. So, but there is a lot of things within this business that are either toxic or have failures with coping, especially with clientele or even talking to people. But there's been a lot of studies when it comes to psychedelic therapy that is a little bit more of a better pathway than, let's say, we're just going to hit the therapist and get on some Prozac.
Okay.
get on an antidepressant because I'm sure that a lot of people in this industry are very over medicated because of the stress.
Yeah.
So, and plus, what do? We work during vacation.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
So I just think that stress management and therapeutic pathways of different sources should certainly be advocated more in high stress jobs.
Interesting. Yeah, that could be a nice little side business. You
That's
you,
what
you
I'm
know the
looking
people
for.
you can sell it to.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. I'm looking on that for that little community of those people. I haven't found them just yet, but we'll see. But everybody kind of does know that I am kind of into the advocacy for psychedelic therapy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So once you pass this on to somebody else, that's your next thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A little more time on my hands.
Yeah. Work with the crazies. Good luck.
Right. I'm working up here with you. You're like, I'm probably mean.
I mean, I grew up in Miami, so that says a lot.
Yeah, well, you ever been into a party in the south of this town? West of town? Yeah, we can get a little crazy too.
One day.
One day.
So how are you with like social media? So I feel like you're great. Like you have no fear of doing any of this stuff.
I don't have any fear of doing it. Consistency is always a problem.
Okay.
I have been looking at your things online as well. And as far as Facebook and all the other different platforms, TikTok's my thing.
Okay.
But I'm not really into
doing the dancing and stuff on TikTok.
No, not the dancing. Yeah, I do. She would probably be great. I feel like it's comic relief a little bit more for me. I do like to do videos. Like there's some other competitors out there where I understand that people want information.
Yeah.
It's usually better for me on a one-on-one basis, or maybe something we did today to give out information, because sometimes things online you just swipe. If it's longer than a minute,
not even 10 seconds,
right? Yeah. So people's attention span and the consistency. I'm always still learning social media. I love TikTok. My following isn't that big, but on Facebook it is.
Yeah.
And it's either, the popularity or the comic relief people usually like more than the analytics of it. But, I just enjoy I enjoy the social media because it's kind of more fun for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I need a social media person. Actually, I'm looking. If anybody would like to send me their resume.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
It helps. And there's things that I learn about social media all the time. And I don't like Meta.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever delved into some? I mean, I do make money on Facebook.
Okay.
Consistent posting.
Yeah.
But it's Meta is not as user friendly as you think, unfortunately. A lot of hours going delving into how to be more of a creationist on social media. And 3 a.m. and you're like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't even go to bed. But I mean, that's the whole thing of being an entrepreneur and trying to get yourself out there. I love all the.
You have to learn a lot. You gotta wear many hats.
I love all the HD and all that stuff, and see how good I look in this video. But honestly, I don't think you really even need that. You just need to get on video and just do something, do a dance.
Yeah, that's I worked for a guy at Allstate when I started insurance, and that's what he said. Just record yourself, doesn't matter what.
Yeah,
and just post it. Don't look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I spent probably hours just staring at the camera, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even hit record.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch any of my stuff.
You don't?
Nope.
Same. I'm like the same way. It's okay.
What's the point?
People see me every day. I don't need to watch myself.
Yeah, we are our own biggest critics.
That's what I mean, and that's the problem. Or you were with my family, and everybody's a critic.
Well, so as we wrap up, I just want to ask: do you have any type of superstition or ritual before you get a deal or something? For example, when I pull somebody's credit, I start saying a prayer. I go, Ave Maria, hope this credit score comes back good. Is there anything like that for you?
I don't know. One of my best realtors, he would usually have a superstition, where, don't do that, kind of over guaranteeing or any kind of, champagne toastings before the final commencement, you know, because, you know, maybe you would have a little bit of superstition or you're jinxing something.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think I do. I think the only superstition would be is, you know, you're not going to get anywhere not doing it at all. But I don't think so. I'm not really scared of anything that's a bar. I mean, you know, when it comes to people, what's the biggest fear? Because people will yell at you.
Yeah.
People get mad. People get crazy. People will steal the license plate off clients' cars and I don't want during the course.
Wow.
So I don't know. I don't think I have any superstitions as far as it when it comes to closing transactions.
Okay. Are you like a music person?
I can be, yeah.
Okay. What's like a music, like a song that motivates you, or maybe a
song that motivates?
Yeah, gets your day going.
No.
Listen down.
Well, yes, but no. Hip hop music is my thing. Hip hop music is totally my thing. I do love rap, whatever era, you know, I'm either leaving or trying to get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I listen to my gangster rap on the way to the office.
So maybe that's your superstition then.
I get a little hood.
Yeah, yeah.
And but yeah. I mean, I don't really have a fight song at the moment right now, but Ice Cube is my favorite.
Ice Cube, okay, yeah.
You know, he calls himself a shooter, but he's he's kind of like a low key guy. But
yeah, I think he's good. Yeah, I like Ice Cube too.
My favorite, I'm telling you.
Yeah, for me,
it's not too crazy.
Eminem for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. It's the best rapper to ever live in my opinion.
Probably the best concert I ever went to was 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah, 50's good too, yeah.
He's got his own band and he threw confetti. Better than Snoop Dogg and Warren G, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 50. Growing up, that was my favorite. And then as I got older, went to Eminem.
Well, I have a 16-year-old son now who's obviously into the same genre of music, but it's completely different. And then he's like, do you like this? And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. You know, like they have these artists now that don't even take a breath. Like, where is the pause? Where's the bridge of the song? But no, that's my favorite kind of music. I love all kinds of music.
Okay.
You know, you might catch me listening to some opera, like cooking dinner.
Really? Okay.
Very versatile.
I think that's the one I cannot listen to. Opera.
I mean, if
I go to sleep.
Pitch.
I go to sleep. That and jazz, probably.
Okay, I hate jazz. I do. I can't stand it. It reminds me of cruise ship elevators. It does.
Is there anything you want to say to the audience? Anything like that maybe we haven't covered as like a last message before we wrap up?
I think you covered everything. I think my last message would be thank you for the opportunity of coming to speak with you. I hope we do more things together.
Yeah.
You know, I think that we can, I think we can certainly grow. You know, you're young.
Yeah.
How are you? 30. Well, I'm 39. It doesn't seem that far, but like even, you know, gosh, you know, even people that are like 10 years younger than I am. And I love seeing people that are coming in the industry where they're even younger.
Yeah.
Because you think like, you know, if I have a pivot of my career at like 39, I feel like real estate, if you're either not born into it or you don't start young, then like by the time I'm my age, you're like, dude, I'm either gonna quit because you can't handle it, or you're probably gonna be the best. So, you know, and the real estate industry, especially in Florida, you know, because we have that lovely statistic of like people failing all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you come work with me, you won't fail because I'm more of a leader than a boss.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's important.
It is very important. It's important to know, to be an advocate for people that are new, but it's also important to know when you need to advocate for yourself, especially being new in an industry.
Right.
Yeah.
Ask
me questions.
Sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'll say thank you for being here, and then
Q. You need like one of those long things.
Oh yeah, we need a timeout, and then
hold it.
No, and it'll. That's what happens when you forget to stand.
Oh god, I hate the thing. Like, so I have like the one that they.
Dame cualquiera después. We figure out the size later. This way.
What is happening?
Oh, because I always give a shirt at the end. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the shirt. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Elite Mortgage. God.
Huh? Oh, I said thank you for coming.
You know, you said like thank you for coming, like you were telling the camera. Yeah, I'm supposed to say thank you.
Oh, you want me to say thank you to the camera too?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.